Hey there, my name's Andy Greider, and I am the host and producer of Unique This Week. I am so excited to have with us this week an amazing guest in Chuck Palm. Chuck is one of the most highlighted and sought after speakers in the tech field, and we're going to cover some amazing stuff with him today. He's got a lot of inside knowledge on how to use NFTs to promote your business and help business cases move things forward. He's also written a book on demystifying cryptocurrency, which quite frankly, most of us probably could use a read through that. I've read Cryptocurrency for Dummies. It didn't help. I'm still a dummy. I'm going to have to check out Chuck's new book, or his old book and his new book. But Chuck, let's get you in here. And thank you so much for being with us.
Andy, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in preparing for this interview, I was just blown away with the background that you have. I mean, with, IBM, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Gartner, and my business partner's a Gartner guy. So that hit
awesome.
Home. All those people as clients. And you've been in the tech field for 30 plus years now.
That's correct. I started out when I was a wee lad of 3. No, I was the idea that, there's an old tech guy is kind of funny to me, because when I was in tech at 27 or 28, I was getting into my own entrepreneur style of servicing clients. And I was already the old guy. In your 30s in technology, you're the dinosaur. Everybody that was coming along was looking at newer things and newer networking. And I adapt as things go along. And that's what led me to the journey towards cryptocurrency.
And that really makes all the difference in the world, is when you can adapt. What do you think has been the biggest change in the last couple of years? Do you think it has been crypto? Do you think it's NFT? Do you think it's blockchain in general? Where do you think things are headed that way?
I honestly believe between AI and blockchain, we're changing the face of the internet worldwide. I don't say that lightly, because I built some of the first on-ramps for dial-up and high-speed modems on the internet back in the 90s.
So you were the one that made it possible for me to do things like the well back in the day and rec.xyz, right?
I didn't personally send you that little DVD in the mail with the AOL logo on it, but their office is about six blocks from here. So
okay, there you go. Well, I won't blame you for AOL.
Thank you.
There we go. But thank you for all the work you did there. Now, again, you said, kind of being the old guy on the block, relatively speaking, because I have a feeling we're of a certain age together.
Sure. Yeah.
But
I'm not ashamed to say I'm in my 50s now, and I feel better than I did in my 30s. So,
well, that's a fantastic thing. I think we both are kindred spirits there too. So that's great. As far as it's concerned, you wrote a book called Demystifying Cryptocurrency, if I remember correctly.
That is correct. That's the title.
And so tell me a little bit about what sort of prompted that. How long ago did that come out? Does that do for a revision? And then well, go ahead and answer that, and then we'll get into the next questions.
Sure. The impetus for the book was really a job offer. Somebody asked me, hey, would you look at, helping us promote this new idea in managing virtual money? And I admitted up front, I was no expert. I had no real, knowledge base to say I can create content or promote your new crypto, if that's where you're going, because I was still kind of mystified by it on my own. I had known about it for over 10 years and really, really stupidly did not invest in it when it was about a dime.
Yeah.
That was the biggest mistake this old tech guy made. That being said, I just didn't understand it. That's why I didn't put a lot of money in it.
Yeah.
Moving into what started this a little over a year ago, I realized that nobody really had a great firm grasp of what crypto was, and the high-end tech community that had really embraced the underlying networking side of blockchain, that was really intriguing to an old network guy. I built Wi-Fi networks. I built secure point-to-point networks, again, early 2000s. And I was completely blown away by the advancements in this kind of topology and how they may change the face of the internet. So I wrote the book to help my friends and family around the Thanksgiving table understand, what the hell is it you're doing again, Chuck? That's what it came out for.
It makes that question a lot easier. Here's what you can read, and it'll help you. So because it is still a mystifying subject for so many people.
Sure.
Let's talk about what the difference is or how things delineate differently between when they hear blockchain and they hear cryptocurrency. Can you give a quick explanation of what the differences are there?
I would say if you look at blockchain as the safe where you store your cryptocurrency, and the exchanges that you hear about on the news all the time are the ways the banks of getting it in and out of that safe. So the cryptocurrency is a token based money, and all that means is it's virtual. It's got serial numbers, and it shouldn't be able to be cracked, although
Right.
it has been.
Right.
And you store it on a vault somewhere online. Well, a normal network is easy to hack into, so they create a much more secure network in a blockchain that virtually everybody participating in knows about the transactions, but they're still secret.
Right.
And so that methodology is, I'm going to protect your money if you protect my money.
Right.
And we're just going to put it here in this bank, but we're going to lock it in a vault that only I have my key to my vault.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes. I hope that makes sense for the listeners. It certainly makes sense to me.
Okay, good.
That's the only point of reference I can give you at the moment. But as far as this sort of led to what are called NFTs. So let's first of all explain what NFTs are, and then let's explain why you moved from the Demystifying Cryptocurrency book to the new NFT book, which I don't know the title of, but
Demystifying NFTs. It's so creative. Hey. It's a whole new concept in naming books. Yeah. Wait till you see book 3. No, that's the idea of an NFT is a lot like, people that collected stamps or comic books or trading cards, in that the value of anything that you want as a collector is based on things like its perceived value, its scarcity, and its utility. Does it have any real use for me? Or maybe the potential upside for selling it later for a profit.
Right.
Why does an NFT make sense on a blockchain when anybody can look at that picture and see it on their computer, yet I own it and I hold that title to that photo or that whatever, right, the dignified NFT document is, and I now possess the single and sole source to be able to resell that to somebody like you that would be interested in collecting that. So that is one very surface level of the utility of NFTs.
Right.
It's all the cool stuff that's happening under that surface level that I'm excited about as a geeky network engineer, because of the underlying security and the utility and how else can I use that, and storage and retrieval, and I could go on and on.
Well, actually, let's go ahead and go on and on for a minute, because there's a lot of business applications
that
this leads to. But again, I think a lot of people are so completely either, keep it away from me. Yeah. I don't want anything to do with it. I heard the horror stories of what happened in crypto, XYZ, or I heard about this bank failing as a result of investing in too much of that kind of thing, etc. Right. And I think it gets a black eye very quickly. But where do you see this helping businesses, and how? Let's go through at least one case study, maybe 2 or 3, of how business.
So let me start at a very relatable level for people, and tell you a little story about a university. If you've ever gone to any kind of college course or taken extra, extension courses or whatever, you had to go and apply at the office and say, I'm going to pay you money and you're going to give me knowledge. And at the end of that, you give me a nice little certificate I can hang on the wall, or it says course completion or whatever. And that document is worth the paper it's printed on. If I can't verify it as somebody who really needs to prove that you're the qualified candidate for my job, how do I know that your education, your higher level of understanding of these topics is something that we can certify? Does the employer really take the time to call up the university and say, hey, would you look up this guy's records? I'd like to see that permanent record, sir. I want to know that he really did complete these courses. So an NFT, being a secure method of storing data, actually creates a serial number for each one of those documents or courses, and allows you to store that on a database that I can give permission to people to look at and say, hey, we have verified this. It's kind of like a notary stamp, right? That that's proven because there's a witness and they're, blessed by the state to be able to sign off and say, I watched him sign that document. Right. Well, that's what the NFT utility does for most documents that are stored inside that little, safe vault. I mentioned the safe was the blockchain, and the vault actually has a drawer with a key, and that would be, kind of your NFT example. I put all my little documents related to that one serial number, and I lock that drawer, and I say, all right, you want to check up on me? I'm going to give you access to that. And you can then verify that those keys match and that information in there is real. And I really did say I got that degree from that university. And now everybody is able to feel more reassured that document safety is real, that statements made are supported. And I understand even the court system is looking at maybe storing documents that way as well.
Well, when we have documentable, provable instances of even high-ranking people fabricating things out of thin air, it's amazing to me that we have this asset sitting there that we're not using.
It's still a mystery. Yeah, so many people are mystified by it.
Yeah, but that is right there. That is a fantastic example of how NFTs can work. Now, that's a university, and they're technically a business, of course. That's a way to hold that type of record. It could be for certifications. It could be for any number of other things that you want to be able to store and share and prove. But
right.
How else can this help a business? What can a business leverage NFT-wise to help them within their daily functions, daily processes, that kind of thing?
I'll shift gears a little bit to the medical industry.
Right.
I had some... I was actually asked to help secure some data early on when the HIPAA laws were first applied. And doctors were really interested in connecting with their mobile device or their iPad and seeing this live information about that patient, and doing so in a secure manner that, abided by the new HIPAA laws. There were huge penalties if they didn't secure that network. Yeah. So, being Wi-Fi and other connectivity issues, we were able to connect them securely, but there's still no way of verifying that you got the right information and that information was unaltered, or that the patient's records were up to date. Now, apply that same thought process by creating a token with that patient's name on that box, sticking all of the medical records, the treatments, any kind of medicines, past surgeries. I don't know about you, but I'm really tired of filling out the forms every time I go to a new doctor. And they know that information on me. I know they could easily access it. I think they're just waiting to fill up the waiting room time. That being said, the NFT works in that way as well, because it's a secure lockbox for my private patient data. And then I can authorize the physician to take a look at that, verify, yes, he really does have these things. Yes, he's really here for this treatment. And yes, I know that, he has shin splints from the last time he tried to run. So, those are some real world examples that I can use and say that the data verification process, when you squeeze anything into an NFT token, that's why the T in the middle is a token, it creates an immutable, unchangeable record that's verified. Now, can things be faked? Can things be hacked or broken into? Always. I mean, the problem is we put the lowest layer of security on the most important documents, because that is all we're able or capable of doing without creating huge headaches, bandwidth expense, and various other problems with encrypting data. And then keys are an issue. You lose the key, what happens? Right. In the case of an NFT, you're out. Don't want to lose those keys. They make a little steel case. You can have those hammered into it and put it in a vault somewhere on your own in the real world. But creating that immutable record is the safest method that we can verify as a community. By the way, the blockchain participants are a large community of other users that kind of keep a watch on your data for you, and that's part of that record of trust. So I'm happy to say that there's 1,000 other case uses, but everybody relates to going to the doctor and filling out forms.
Well, and in truth, we'll lead to this. Read the book when it comes out, because you're going to learn a lot more.
Thank you for the plug. Yeah.
Hey, absolutely. I mean, seriously, I'm looking forward to the demystifying NFT even more than demystifying cryptocurrency, because that is an area where, again, I work in medical side of things, healthcare side of things. We see a lot of transfer of data issues. We see a lot of other pieces, not only HIPAA, but other things too. So it's, it's key to be able to understand that world and be able to work well within it. One of the other things I wanted to kind of try to cover is if you had any piece of advice for business owners that are looking to leverage tech at this point in our evolution, what would you think would be the most important things for a business owner to understand about technology right now?
Well, I think first and foremost, you can't be afraid of new technology, even though it might sound like it's, spooky and scary and has implications that may, wipe out my entire bank account or change all my records. And, somebody's going to steal my identity and pretend that they're me online. People are actually using NFTs now to sell real estate and properties. Right. I mean, imagine buying a house and never having to leave your chair, doing it all online and completing the transaction within a half an hour. Right. Instead of weeks that it takes to create escrow, to involve different people, to get the insurance sign off, to do all these things. All of that now in a virtual world will make it faster, more secure, and definitely cheaper when you don't have to have a meeting of the minds in somebody's real estate office to close a property that you should have been able to do with a phone call. We're not far from that. There are test case examples that are on the record now where they have successfully sold properties that were listed as an NFT, and those records, they're there and done. Now, the other piece of advice I would give people is don't always believe what you hear or see on the media about new technologies. Just as an example, when we transfer funds electronically in the current banking system, there's fraud there that would eclipse the amount of fraud that's in cryptocurrency. I'm not saying that cryptocurrency doesn't have scammers and cheaters or try to, steal your money. What I'm saying is the existing banking system is not flawless, and it loses billions of dollars every week, just like crypto does, to fraud and to scammers. The other point of that, I think, is a little sneak peek at book number 3, which is in progress, is about AI. Demystifying AI will be the next step. It's all Web3, and what Web3 is it's part of the blockchain, it's part of AI, and it's part of the creator economy, where you and I are actually creators in this world, and we're putting content online all the time that we own. Imagine knowing every time somebody opened your video or looking at your website and being able to determine that user's asking permission to clip your video or to promote you or say, hey, I want to share this with a friend. Right. And that you could actually charge them a minor fee if their friend decides to buy your online course and give them a percentage of a commission. That's how NFTs are going to be used in the creator economy. So the AI monster that's coming is really not anything to be afraid of in its current flavors. There are people who are super hyper scared about it. And I'm not one of them because, I've never seen the robots from the future come back and try to kill me because we created AI.
Well, I was going to say we're not quite to T2 territory yet.
Not yet.
But and realistically, I hope we never get there. But
amen. I'm with you.
But the long story short, again, I think your underlying advice of don't be afraid of the new technology, embrace and learn and take advantage of and leverage it is really key. But also to be able to understand it. Now, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, Chuck, to learn more or to get your books or things like that, how do we do that?
The quickest and easiest way is chuckpalm.com. You'll find links to all the different shows I participate in. I also do a morning radio program, America in the Morning, and that goes out nationwide on syndicated radio. I have the books listed there as well as the Top Tech Show. Top Tech Talk Show is my baby about these very topics. I love talking tech, and I'll do it all day if you let me. And the best, and again, I'm Chuck at chuckpalm.com if you need to reach me.
Awesome. Chuck, thank you so much for being here. I can't begin to tell you how much we appreciate having such amazing guests. It's awesome. Thank you.
Andy, you're very kind, and thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, it's our pleasure. My name's Andy Grider. This has been another episode of Unique This Week. We try to focus on business growth solutions, some people that are doing things that are unique or understand things that maybe you don't as a business owner and that you could actually turn around and leverage and help yourself with. So take a listen to what Chuck had to say here today. Dive into the books, learn what you've got going on. Don't be afraid of that technology, like Chuck said. And tune in next week, because we're going to have another amazing guest, another person who's going to help lift your business, boost your profits, save your bottom line, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what we're all about here at Unique This Week. Again, thank you so much for tuning in.